So most of you probably recognize me from a culture show, but today I stand before you not as Julie, Cho's best friend who complains way too much, but as Nguyen, your candidate for Drexel VSA Vice President. But before I begin my speech, I have a confession to make. While I was back in Vietnam, researching about Drexel VSA, I did not want to be a part of this community. I was reading into all these negativity and the rumors, and to be honest, I was scared. I was scared to be a part of a high school drama. However, when I stepped foot into Drexel and into VSA, I was shown just about how wrong I was. I was not only accepted, but was welcomed with open arms. Drexel VSA is the home of so many amazing team people with great hearts and amazing talents. I can honestly say that joining the culture show was the best decision I've ever made. If I hadn't gone to audition that day, it pains me knowing that I never would have gotten to know all of these amazing people. They are teaching folk, without whom none of us would have been in the audition on time. And culture show would not be as good as it was. They are my fellow actors like Linh, Huang, who committed to the characters as much as they did to the culture show. There are talented dancers like me, Anna, and Huang, Kira, who dedicate tens of hours just so that Julie can puke all of herself in that one scene. They're the conscientious people who are behind the scenes, like Anh Duy Tống, Neil, Thuận, Tung, Nhật Hà, who moved the props and directed the lights. Shout out to all of you guys. In fact, before we begin my speech, I would like to ask everyone to give them the biggest round of applause because they deserve it. Thank you for the culture show and for making Drexel VSA such an amazing community. It was because of you all I'm now standing here before you today, running for Vice President for Drexel VSA, in hopes of giving back to a community that gave already so much to me. But even though Drexel VSA has a special place in my heart, I think it's safe to say that there's still space to improve. There's still too much space and distance between us and other organizations. Many view Drexel VSA as a quite exclusive community. Many times I've invited my friends to a Drexel VSA event, only for them to hesitantly say, yeah, but I'm not Viet, so those who are not Vietnamese should not feel like they are not welcomed in our community. Secondly, Drexel VSA does not have enough events, which makes it difficult for Drexel students to learn about our organization. Throughout my 8 months at Drexel VSA hosted 8 events. 8. When compared to Temple VSA and Penn VSA, they hosted well over 20. Well, I acknowledge that it was partly due to our lack of finance, but I think we can do better. In fact, I know that we can. If I were to become the vice president of our organization, I would dedicate all I have in me to help Drexel VSA become a much more inclusive and dynamic community. Through my first 8 months at Drexel, I have made many valuable connections and networks. I'm a peer leader at Lowell College of Business, which provides me chances to interact hands-on with freshmen. And I also get to know professors and faculty members personally. A professor in particular we peer leaders work closely with is Dr. Christopher Finnan, who is not always willing to help his incoming freshmen and students, but also is easily one of the most influential professors at Drexel. I'm also a brother of the business fraternity Alpha Kappa Psi, which opens me up to members from the Student Allocation Fee, Activity Fee Allocation Committee, or SAFA, and the Good Idea Fund, TGIF, who are in charge of giving funds to organizations such as ourselves. I think that my connection with these organizations will benefit VSA greatly in terms of finance. Additionally, many of my good friends are active members of Ascend, ASA, KSA, and JUSA. With my network, I can help bring VSA closer and connect more deeply with these organizations and create meaningful relationships and collaborations. I have many more ideas to host events for Drexel VSA, both independently and with others. Independently, aside from our current traditional events, I believe that we should take risks and host more events. For example, Vietnam is known for cuisine, So why don't we host an event that takes Drexel students through a journey of delicacies or a really fun traditional games? And collaboratively, to target people hesitant to join our events because they are not Vietnamese, I will design events specifically to target them. And collaboratively, this will not only help Drexel VSA gain more recognition and awareness throughout the Drexel community, but also help us financially as more will come and purchase our tickets. Collaboratively, we can also help us have co-hosted events with other Asian organizations and non-Asian organizations. Only yesterday, the night market had occurred, and KSA, JUSA, and ASA co-hosted them, but we weren't there. VSA wasn't there. I asked my friend who was an executive in one of the organizations, and they told me this. We felt like VSA has its own thing, usually. And intentionally, we're excluding ourselves. As vice president of Drexel VSA, I would not let these chances to bring Drexel VSA closer to other organizations bypass. Aside from my social strength, I believe I should be vice president of VSA because I work very well under pressure. Last term, at the same time, I was taking on 20 credits, pledging for AK Psi, rehearsing for our culture show, competing in the Boeing case competition, and won, and working over 10 hours at Starbucks every week, all the while retaining a somewhat healthy social life. We can talk about later. That period challenged me mentally, physically, and emotionally, but I came out knowing just how far I can go and what I'm capable of. And I know now, I'm capable of becoming Drexel VSA vice president. To conclude, I'm passionate about this community. When I found out that my opponent candidate was New Ho, I was actually really happy. I don't know New personally, but from working with her briefly in our culture show, I can tell that she cares a lot about Drexel VSA, and she has really great management skills. Just see how smoothly culture show went with her as director of logistics. But the reason I'm running for vice president is because I think that Drexel VSA has a lot of people who are talented and has great management skills already. What we need now are people who can connect us with other organizations. People, and I know I can do that, and I will. If you think Drexel VSA is perfect just as it is, I honestly don't think it matters who you vote for, because both of us are great candidates, and I know we can do a good job. But if you think Drexel VSA can change to become more dynamic and inclusive, please allow me to be that change. Vote for me as Drexel VSA Vice President. Thank you.